but you've gone from one extremist position to another extremist position. You've just said that the Prophet ﷺ was a civil leader as if he didn't have anything to do with Islam. Oh, the Prophet ﷺ didn't have anything, he didn't bring Islam to the political arena at all. Oh my God. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous, this idea. That you can't be. Why do we not allow ourselves the right to bring our spirituality to the table of the political discourse? Why do we deny ourselves the right to bring our faith, our guidance, our what we can offer to the 21st century? Why do we believe there's this wonderful Western political model that nobody has anything that we can't have
Nawaz,
to
Nawaz,
you keep mixing the 2 points of Muslims engaging in politics without coming with an agenda and those who have politicized Islam. What we're talking about here is those who have politicized Islam.
Okay, I'm going to go to the gentleman in the third row. You, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Asad al-Assad. I'm from Syria. Speaking about countries that embrace Islam or Islamic Sharia as the major source of their constitutions, such as Saudi Arabia and Iran, that embrace Islam as an ideology for the country, can't we take these an example of a threat to the West? And if we think about it in a different way, why is Iran perceived as a threat while Saudi Arabia is not? Thank you.
Who'd like to take that?
Well, I think that's what we call, Richard Haas called democratic exceptionalism. He was the former US ambassador. And ultimately, there's that democratic exceptionalism. We accept this one and we don't accept that one, or we like this one, perhaps that one. And it's the tinkering, that, you know, it's the gameplay that unfortunately goes on. I think the point that this evening, and why I want you to reject this motion, is that if we don't make room in the political arena for those who want to have a political discourse based upon their faith, not only is this non-democratic, not only is this against the democratic principles of the West that, you know, we want to espouse, we exclude them at our own expense. We have to find room, because the simple fact is, as Graham Fuller of the CIA said, the simple fact is that political Islam, defined broadly as a belief that the Quran and the Hadith have something important to say about the way society and governance should be ordered, remains today the most powerful ideological force in that part of the world.
You like the CIA, don't you?
Well, I just think, you know, these guys,
a lot from them.
These guys, at the end of the day, are meant to go out there. No, seriously. These guys are meant to go out there and find out who are the threats to the West. These guys are there looking for the bad guys, looking for the threats. And at the end of the day,
there are bad guys.
Of course there's bad guys in the world. Yeah. These guys are looking out there, looking for the threats to the West. And you know what? They say that political Islam isn't actually a threat.
Well, imagine, we're not saying that there aren't bad guys. We're saying the bad guys are a minority of Islamists, and the majority of Islamists are not.
Please give me the examples. The majority of the Brotherhood that we've just been speaking about, you don't agree with them and you're not here to defend them. I find that quite amusing, because I think you should be sitting here.
In a democratic system, people
I hope in
have
future we can work together.
Can you let him reply? Yeah. You made a point. Did you have something to say?
Yes, in a democratic system, people have the right to have illiberal views. The Republican Party in America has strong Christian influences. They've supported torture over the last 8 years of the Bush administration. They've been against equal rights for
They would take issue with that.
No, well, it's true. I mean, there's been a lot of document. They're against equal rights for gays, so on and so forth. That's illiberal. That doesn't mean we should ban Republicans from participating. It doesn't mean Republicans are a threat to the West.
I was the first to stand up in the UK to oppose banning even Hizb ut-Tahrir, which is why I corrected Tim in his introduction. Sorry about that. But this because I agree with you. They have the right to have illiberal views. That doesn't mean we consider those views a problem. Of course they're a problem. We don't ban them. We deal with them through debates such as this to expose what they really believe in. I was quoted in Parliament by Gordon Brown, the Prime Minister of the UK, when asked about why he hasn't banned Hizb ut-Tahrir. He said because Maajid Nawaz came out, being a member on their leadership, and said we shouldn't ban them. That was my contribution to not banning Islamists in the UK. I agree that they should not be banned, but they should be exposed. They are a problem. Illiberal views are a problem, true or not?
We're going to take a question from a gentleman in the fourth row there. You, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Daniel from New York City. I'd like to speak very specifically about a threat. Do you believe that Iran's nuclear aspirations and its support, economic and military support for organizations such as Hamas and Hezbollah pose not only a threat to democracies in the Middle East, such as Israel, but also the Middle Eastern stability? Thank you.
Sarah Joseph.
I think that there are nations out there who, you know, we don't like their politics. North Korea is perhaps another one.
Nobody asked a specific question about Iran.
About Iran. Do I think that they're a threat? No, actually, I don't think that they're a threat. I think that they are ultimately a government that we can make very scary stories about, and we can say that they're illiberal. But actually, if you look at many people that's coming out of Iran, no, I don't think that they're a threat, a substantive threat to the West. I really and truly don't. We might put them in our axis of evil. We might say, let's go into Iraq and then let's go into Iran. But, who's more of the threat in this? Who's actually committing more of the violence here?
So can I just say that there's no threat if they've been lying about aspects of their nuclear technology for a long time?
We have nuclear weapons in England. Are we a threat?
I didn't say.
Israel has nuclear weapons. They're definitely
I said they were They were lying about aspects of what they've done.
Okay,
that's not a threat.
Well, I don't know whether they're lying or they're not lying. I haven't been in there. But at the end of the day,
the Atomic Energy Agency has, and they've said
Iraq
that they've been
supposedly had weapons of mass destruction. We invaded their country saying, you've got weapons of mass destruction. There were no weapons of mass destruction. So then we said, we're here to create democracy and regime change.
Well, just to mix things up a bit, I have to say on this point I disagree slightly with my partner. I do think Iran can be considered, is a threat actually, but they're a threat not because they're Islamists, but because they're trying to get nuclear weapons and they're acting as an irresponsible power. It has nothing to do necessarily with their Islamism. Okay. It's that they have a very aggressive agenda in the region.
Just to make an example, unfortunately, their position on the legitimacy of pluralism in faith for concerns even the Jews is something that has no possibility of any legitimacy for concerns Islamic principles and for concerns the natural culture of coexistence and pluralism and respect of diversity in faith in Europe. So this is a threat, because at the end of the day, they are starting to have the monopole of the Islamic leadership. They would like to, and they want to export it to the West because they do not have legitimacy in the East. And at the end of the day, they will try to even have the legitimacy of belief. And so all the mainstream Muslims, all the great scholars of Islam in contemporary society, all the believers in Christianity and Judaism, and all the non-believers will be all out because we will be discriminated, because they are. If you're not sure that they are a threat, don't take the risk, because you cannot be naive in putting at the same place the possibility of a true participation of believers in Islam into the political debate, and of false persons that are trying to use religion not for peace and not for spirituality.
All right, okay, I'm going to take a question from the lady up there.
My name is Shweta Sitaraman. I'm Indian by nationality, but I've lived in the Middle East all my life. I'm not a Muslim, but my question is for the proposition. The key word here is Islam. Political anything could be a threat to anything else. My question is, why is political Islam? What are the areas, the key factors in Islam, political Islam, that are a threat? Are people using political Islam as an excuse for their actions, or are they actually practicing political Islam as threats to the Western society?
There are two options. Muslims are participating and have the duty and the responsibility and the freedom to engage into the contribution for the political development of society in the East and in the West. So this is the translation of a correct approach in intention, methodology and goal of a Muslim believer in politics. The difference, the great difference, is that on the other side you have an ideology that is using political purposes that have nothing to do with religion, and that at the end of the day they want to threaten the established system of democracy and of freedom, and even within the Muslims, in order to change because they believe that Islam is the solution.
Let me just go back. I want to go back to the question.